Greetings, dear beautiful spirit soul. Thank you so much for just being who you are and being open to knowledge, this kind of knowledge. I find this is the greatest knowledge because I've been a seeker, a spiritual researcher, obviously for, in this earth thing since I was a teenager. Actually, before even in kindergarten and such, and because my great-grandmother was a very metaphysical person, and she was my spiritual partner. She's, so we've been very, very close in things. And here's the key, and my topic is death is a lie. It really is. And it's such a lie, and it's so deeply, and it's so there in everything that people even prepare for it. And I'll also wish for it in a sense to get over the trouble or the problem, but they hitch again for another ride in the cycle of reincarnation, you say, and going over and over again. And then you have to have a reason. You're going to come back, you're going to learn a lesson, and this is why I'm here. This is not true. This is not true. I know. Everybody go. See, I don't expect me to go along with everybody else, and I'm just going to give the same old blah-blah-da-blah-blah. If that's what you want, fine. That's not what I'm after. I'm not attached to any belief, anything I've ever learned, or whatever that is. I want the truth. And there is absolute truth. And that absolute truth is always who we are, you see. And death is a lie because you can't die. You are eternity. We are the eternals. That's who we are. That's our nature. And being captured by anybody, it's like, why do people want to capture somebody? Why do people want to control somebody else? Why do they want to just get somebody to do everything that they want to be doing, and they'll use force and threats and punishment, or they use rewards and chocolate and money and things to get people to do what they want? And you say, well, why do they want me to do all these things that they want in that sense? And it's because when we focus on something, when we perceive it and maybe name it or take it, we give it life. We give it what it is because we're giving it a status as something real in our own consciousness. That's why you want to perceive it as a creation. And there's also the spiritual realm of beyond material creation, which is beyond the light and dark game. It's beyond the light and sound show. It's beyond the void and the darkness and all of that, because that's still caught up in that same mental reality of duality, of light and dark, of good and bad, and all of that sort of thing. And yes, there is ultimate goodness, and ultimate and absolute goodness is who we are. There's absolute love, and that's who we are. And that is a caring for, but not sentimentality kind of caring for, always then wishing for your welfare and your well-being, for who you really are. And for me, I've always been involved in the divine experiment, and that is to actually really apply these great teachings and to use them and be really, when people ask me how I built Terry Cole-Whittaker Ministries and television ministries in the 80s, and when I would tell them, most people didn't understand, but I would always go to my God within and for all my guidance and what I really need. And yes, there were other people that helped me do different things. I'm not saying we weren't. But it was a process of clearing my objections all the time. What's my obstacle? And almost always it came up, what are other people going to think and do? We have given other people so much power. That's why my book, What You Think of Me Is None of My Business, it's a must read for people, and it is so beneficial, and for young people and everybody. And it's the issue that we are so, what would you say, conditioned, programmed to believe in all this lack and limitation, and the belief in life and birth and death. You are life, you are existence, we are eternals. And so when we give our energy, our consciousness, at night, we're creating that electricity. We emanate light, in a sense. We have our own self-effulgence. We are what we are Shakti. And we are the energy of the divine energetic. And that does not mean that we're just an energy. That's just another label of trying to describe the undescribable, the indescribable. That is who we are. So you have to get that when death is alive, because then you see all these people practicing for being old, and they have to act their age, or you have to act like you know something and lord it over everybody. It's all these little games that people are playing, and then deep inside in this feel that they have to hurry and wait because their time will be over and their time is up. What do you mean their time? Somebody gave you time? And time is a construct. Time is, and space are constructs. It doesn't exist because there's no past or future. It's just now. And what you pull into the now is what you give your power to. So when you pull in concepts and thoughts and ideas and expectations and rules and regulations and all of these beliefs of not being good enough and there isn't enough, and that war is natural, and all of this, take sides, get a team, get on, blah. You're just being used to fuel the life of these thinking entities. All of the people who are thinkers, they're analyzing, figuring, and they're just playing with it, material energy, manipulating it one molecule at a time through sound, light, emotions, and all that. And as we follow those thoughts and those beliefs, we're then using our divine energy and manifesting it. Don't agree with what you don't want. Create your own. And when people say, well, I create my own reality, again, that's where you're going to get your own reality. You are reality. When you get your reality, then you see yourself in this kind of a house, and you're over here, and you've got these things. Yes, of course we need a place to stay and live and all that. Yes, and they're magnificent. Come on. But what this is that when we have the belief that we're going to die and there's not enough time, and if only I'd learned this before, I would have done it. None of that you think is your past even exists anymore. It was in the now, in that moment. It was over. And yet people carrying it on and carrying it and carrying it. Why? Because I better get the lesson or I'll do it again. No, you won't. You have wisdom. If we were listening to our wisdom in the first place, we would have only been making choices that came from our inner knowing and not from the second voice of fear, of lack, limitation, sacrifice, bloodletting of animals, and all of this kind of thing that has brought then the conditions of the world that have come one choice at a time. So, no. Choose your divine reality, which is there in the now. So get to be and know yourself. Listen, and as you do, and as you are, you're only living because that's who you are. You're not preparing for some imagined future of loss in this, because nothing is yours. You can't lose what's not yours. What's yours is the divine. It's called mamatva in Sanskrit. You're mine and I'm yours. Absolutely. And we all have it. And we have it together. Yes. Only live. That's all that there is.